If it's been over like 170 days, you paid an artist through PayPal, and they still haven't shown you any work in progress, it might be time to charge it back. Because we have a case of an artist who has been blowing people off for a hot minute now. So this kicks off with this post by user Kuro or Kuro Cost writing, "Sadly, I'm running out of options. I'm being scammed and ghosted by the artist Kaven Fisa or Canfi 11 for a VTuber model that was originally meant to be completed January 2025. Now it's December 13th, 2025. It's almost a year later. They add latest progress picture was sent in July, promised to deliver by November 10th or refund me. Leaves me on red." Before we dive deeper into this disclaimer, please don't send hate to any parties involved. Do not bully, do not harass people. That is not cool. On a second note, this is not a hickey. I have very sensitive skin and I'm allergic to heat, and this necklace is irritating my skin. But I didn't notice, and this is like the third video I filmed today. So if you look at like other videos where I'm in the same outfit, this red thing will not be there. So anyways, I just wanted to point that out there. So here you can see the VGen history. It reads bottom up here, where in their notifications, it says VTuber model art from Kaven Fisa, December 28, 2024. The guaranteed delivery date was updated to January 17th, 2025. Then the artist requested to move it to February 2nd, and then it was approved and updated to February 2nd. Then the artist asked to move it to June 24th, and then that was also accepted. And the artist Kaven Fisa DM'd Kuro on VGen writing, "Hello, I'm very sorry for the delay and any inconvenience caused. The file will be delivered by November 10th. If for any reason it can't be completed, I will issue a full refund within 2 weeks. Thank you for your patience and understanding." Kuro says, "Hi, due to the lack of updates I've been shown since July and the repeated deadline pushes and unfulfilled promises I've been given, I don't want to consider any more deadlines. I have not received the commission after the specified date, and therefore I'm expecting a refund." And the artist apologizes for how they let them down and state that the commission is almost 90% done, and that they promise this is the last extension and they'll have the final file by November 10th. And they once again apologize even more. And Kuro says, "Hi, this timing is well beyond my original expectations for the commission. I no longer want to wait for the product and would like a refund." And that was sent November 5th. Now, guys, do you want to guess whether they received the model or not? November 12th. "Hello. It's past the November 10th now with no refund, model, or response from you. Please, can you let me know what's happening with the situation? Thank you so much." And November 18th, they bump it again with a long message asking, "Hey, if it's almost finished, can you like finish it then? If not, please refund me." December 8th, they bump it again. This is just so unprofessional. I feel so bad for the client because like having agreed to a deadline of January 2025 and then having the deadline pushed a solid 11, 12 months? If the last progress photo was sent July and no progress photos afterwards was sent, like what? A commenter says, "I believe if you don't agree to another guaranteed delivery date change and let it expire, you'll be eligible for an automatic refund." And the OP says, "I thought this too, but VGen told me they can't get my money back. Even the request form I filled out says I'm guaranteed a refund if the art isn't delivered, but when I pointed this out, I was told they can't. It's up to the artist." Another person comments, "Submit a PayPal chargeback," and they say PayPal instantly denied me because it's been over 180 days since I paid, unfortunately. And other people are saying, "You can create a ticket for a refund. I delivered a working model. Yet, since the final delivery was messed up, VGen issued me to refund 90%. And Kira says VGen contacted the artist twice, but they're being ignored. Just a couple of things, man, because like it sucks. Please commission artists, please work with artists. But things like this, when they happen, it makes people lose trust in artists. This is something that I was just seeing on my timeline in around December because a bunch of like artists ended up like popping out. People were finding out they weren't actually delivering on their commissions. It happens for so many reasons. Some people go in with the intent to scam. Some people go in with the good natured, like, "Oh, I'm gonna do a bunch of commissions. I have a lot of free time." And then like life happens. They end up being a little slow and they unintentionally end up scamming a bunch of people. Intent, whether good or bad, regardless, the end result is like somebody paid you for something and it's been a year and there's no result to show for it. The other person, the client, is not responsible to incur a loss due to your mishandling of the situation. And I think like it goes a couple of ways, right? By the way, I'm not trying to blame the client at all. Like don't interpret this as this. This is just like in the future, if you are commissioning somebody, not just for art, but anything else, and if you're paying through PayPal, PayPal has a 180-day chargeback window. So after 180 days, it's really, really, really hard to charge back. Not impossible, but it basically feels like it's impossible. You can go through your bank and circumvent it and stuff, but for the most part, it's basically cooked. So if it's getting close to the 180 days and you haven't received anything, I'm gonna be honest, if the artist is like promising, swearing up and down, I swear, I will like deliver whatever, but you haven't seen anything, it sucks. But so many times, like good-natured clients who are like very, very empathetic and understanding are like, "Yeah, I totally get it. Like I'm willing to do with an extension, etc." You end up shooting yourself in the foot sometimes, because there are many cases where like a real situation happens and whatever, but like you can charge it back and then recommission the artist again in the future. I just think also from like the artist perspective, with the exception of very, very long working projects, and I guess the VTuber model is a long working project, you are setting yourself up for failure by taking on a bunch of commissions with a really, really, really long like due date window. You know what I mean? Take on a commission and you don't think you can do the commission within the first 6 months of the year, then maybe let's not take this commission, because otherwise you're setting yourself up for failure. You're making it really, really hard on yourself to like deliver this properly ethically without accidentally running over the 180 days, etc. Another option is also payment installments. So instead of paying fully upfront, paying by segments for large projects like this. So it's like you pay them 25%, a couple weeks later you get the line art, you're like, cool, okay, now I'll pay 25 more percent for like the flat colors, and then you get the flats back, and then you're like, okay, pay another, so like that might help protect you better against the 180-day payment window for very, very like long working projects, especially if it is a VTuber model the artist also rigs themselves, because that again might take longer. So going back to the artist, there's a fair amount of people in the comment section who are talking about their experience. We have people stating that they got their model from Canfi finally, but that they had to like constantly hound and basically like harass them to get updates, and they ran over the deadlines multiple times. Another person says they dealt with the same artist not giving updates for months, but thankfully they contacted PayPal and got their money back. There's like 3 people in the comment section who received their model, but it went over deadline and took a long time to receive it. There's 2 people who had to file chargebacks because they themselves never actually received it. There's another person who is in the exact same situation where it's now over 180 days, so they can't charge it back anymore. And the commissions were started, like one of them being as far back as like July 2024. We have another person who states that Canfi was their model mama that screwed them over. They had to buy a whole new model, push their debut back, and they only got 75% refund after waiting between May to November 2024 and only receiving a sketch when September was the deadline to finish. And unfortunately, the artist was hacked on Twitter, so it now says an AI team is taking charge for their handle, and they're basically like only 2 posts now are about AI. So that's unfortunate. Having your stuff hacked sucks no matter what, right? So I feel bad for them for that. This is messy at the end of the day, right? Because like, were they good intentioned? In terms of like they just maybe took on too many commissions that they thought they could handle, and then they just like overestimated their capabilities. But at this point, if that is what happened, then refund the people that you owe money to or complete their work. Like it's one or the other, if it was like I accidentally took too many, you're looking like a scammer, you know what I mean? Because there's so many people that either like overran deadlines many, many times, or that just did not receive their work at all. It's like at least 6, 7 people at this point. It just sucks. And at the end of the day, especially if it is like a VTuber model, because the creators in question plan literally everything around receiving that model, and when you delay it 4 times over the course of 1 year, that's how far back you've pushed it, then like it delays the plans of that person over and over and over and over and over again. They basically lost like a year of their like content creation timeline and had to delay it a year because you as an artist mismanaged your schedule, like mishandled things and took on way too much work that you either did not intend to complete or did not have the bandwidth to complete. And people were saying in the comment section, and this I do agree with, like I think VGen as a platform is a really, really good platform. I like what it stands for, but there are situations that it should take into account to protect clients better. This is one of them, because there's so many artists on VGen who do things like this, where they extend the deadline until it conveniently runs beyond the 180-day chargeback window for PayPal, and then it's a whoopsies, nothing I can do anymore. So some people in the comments were stating that the funds should be held by VGen. So VGen would essentially act as a bank and only release the funds to the artist once the art is completed. From the client's perspective, I can see how that makes sense. From the artist perspective, I've heard artists express frustration over an idea like that, because they're like, well, I need the money right now, which is why I'm taking the commission, because I need the money immediately. That falls into a slippery slope of spending money for a service you didn't complete. It leads you to a situation where, like, if unfortunate circumstances were to arise and then you were to be unable to deliver the service, you've now already spent the money, so now you're in the hole. And there's many artists that we've talked about who've done similar things where like the original intention was good and maybe unfortunate circumstances happened, but they ended up scamming a bunch of people because they were taking on new clients to pay for things in the past. And that's always a dangerous situation to be in. So obviously, like some people are in situations where you can't predict for things that happen like medical bills and stuff. But if you definitely can pre-plan for your finances, would not recommend doing it that way because it just makes life a lot harder for you and everyone else involved. So don't send hate to any parties involved, but that's just kind of like how the cookie crumbled in this story. Hopefully both OP and the other person who's also waiting for their model can get like either the model or a refund back. But this was just something that became like a big talking point on Twitter that I wanted to discuss with you guys. So if you like this video, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Again, this is not a hickey, I promise, okay? I have an Etsy with digital art for streamers and creators. I have a Coffee with free resources like a free sponsorship guide. I am trying to get my Instagram to 100K. We're kind of close, not really. But if you want to follow me there, it would mean a lot. And I stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST. So I hope to catch you all there or in another video. Peace.